We're here, and we're making movies.
I'm in North Dakota.
You're making movies?
Yeah, North Dakota?
Making movies.
In North Dakota?
Are you familiar with North Dakota?
You know those two fellas you put me in touch with up there in Fargo?
Fargo, North Dakota.
Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Bismarck, North Dakota.
Dickens.
Monarch.
Jamestown.
Williston. Standing Rock.
North Dakota!
I've been making movies myself lately.
In North Dakota.
Making movies is the most wonderful thing in the world. And North Dakota. Well.
I come from North Dakota, and bigger, better country you can't find.
Today on the Film North Dakota podcast, we are joined by Ed Sargeant, a 2D and 3D animator, educator, entrepreneur, and co-owner of Birdtree Studio in Bismarck, North Dakota. Ed is originally from England and built his career working in visual effects and animation and on some really major feature films like Batman Begins and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, before eventually making North Dakota his home. After years teaching animation and leading animation teams in the agency world, he launched Birdtree Studio with a mission to prove that world-class animation can be created right here in North Dakota. Ed, thank you so much for being on the Film North Dakota podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it.
And I got to say, that is probably the most epic intro I've ever had to put together for a guest, all the way from England and working on some Chris Nolan and Harry Potter films. How did a kid growing up in England end up owning an animation studio in Bismarck, North Dakota?
Oh, it's a long story. I'll try and give you the cliff notes. The truth is, I've loved animation ever since I was a kid. And after studying at Bournemouth University in the south of England, got really into visual effects. And that's kind of what led me into that journey of working in movies for a small period of my life. But as tends to happen, life throws curveballs at you. And I met Denise, my now wife, fell in love and decided to move to North Dakota and start a family here. And so that in itself was kind of challenging because, you know, going from Soho, London, where there's lots of big VFX studios, we landed in Pick City, North Dakota, up by Lake Sakakawea. Very different environment, beautiful place, and I love living there, but it presented a whole set of new challenges as far as what am I going to do with the rest of my life now that I've made this transition.
Now, when you moved, you were already working in the industry. Let's rewind just a little bit here. When did you realize animation or special effects wasn't just a hobby and it was something you really wanted to pursue professionally?
I think it was when I was in foundation art, when I was in art college, and when I was younger. And it's one of those things. I saw the Pixar shorts and I saw these wonderful movies like Toy Story, and I just thought, that is epic. That's something that I just haven't seen before, and I have to be a part of that. And for a while, I was kind of unsure if that was even something I'd be able to do. But a good friend of mine, he's like, you know, I got into Bournemouth University and they're kind of pioneering a lot of these technologies and showing people how to become animators and how to work in the effects industry. And I applied there, and that's kind of really where it all really began for me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience working with the Hollywood studios? I assume you were working for an animation house or a graphic house, and then Warner Brothers hired you. Is that kind of what happened?
That sounds more glamorous than it really is. I wasn't quite at the Warner Brothers level, but I got hired at the VFX level. But I can kind of explain my path there. I guess while I was still at Bournemouth in my second year, I got an internship at Framestore CFC, and was able to do modeling work as an intern on a film called Thunderbirds. And that's where I kind of fell in love with it. And it's also where I really learned that you think you know a lot when you're in college and you're learning this stuff. I'm really starting to get this now. When you're in a room with professionals, you realize you don't know anything, and the world is much bigger than you thought it was. But when I graduated, Bournemouth is really awesome at connecting with and having a great pulse with the effects effects houses in London, around England, and in fact around the world. And actually, Paul Franklin, who was then head of CG at Double Negative, he actually did my external review of my portfolio. And so they brought him in and we got to talking. And then essentially, I got hired through that portfolio review. And when we did the big review of everyone's work at the end of the year, they would hire out Frame Store's movie theater and we'd show all of the graduates' work and people would come in. I essentially got hired there by Double Negative, and that's what got me into the field. So as naive as I was, thinking it's all about the portfolio and the work, so much of it is about connections and kind of like you say, the right place at the right time.
What did working on large scale productions like that teach you?
You really learn to just become immersed in such a tiny piece of the whole production. And what I loved the most was when they would bring the team together for dailies and you'd look at all the work everyone else is doing and you're like, wow, he's specializing in the lighting and that's what he's doing day in, day out. Or he's doing the simulation, the cloth simulation. That's what he's doing day in, day out. And all the different pieces that come together to make these things. I think when you're younger, you tend to think that you'll get to work across the whole spectrum of the effects industry or the animation industry in general. But Hollywood is such a machine that you really have to learn to specialize and kind of contribute your one thing to the greater good, as it were.
And then that must have been quite a culture shock then, or just quite a shock to go from, the top of the heap in media production here, to Pick City, North Dakota. When you first arrived to North Dakota, what did the creative industry look like compared to today? Did you see a lot of options back then or opportunities back then?
Yeah, I was kind of nervous, to be honest with you. I love North Dakota. I fell in love with it as soon as I moved here, and today I can't ever see myself wanting to live anywhere else. But from a career standpoint, it was a bit nerve-wracking because I had to kind of think, well, how do I kind of reorient myself and my skill set to a market that doesn't need what I do? And how do I adapt? I essentially initially tried to do was probably the wrong approach. I just started putting reels together and I sent off around 150 DVDs because it was all DVD back then. And I don't know, if the company was ahead of the times, they'd request a web URL. But, yeah. And it was, kind of during when the economy wasn't so hot, and I got a lot of rejection and I got a little bit despondent at that point. But I did get an offer and I ended up actually moving out of state for a little while. I moved to Colorado and I got into accident reconstruction as a forensic animator. And I did that for a small period of time. But I have to be honest with you, my wife and I, we missed North Dakota. And in the end, we decided to come back and well, let's see if we can make something happen here. And that was when, I was fortunate enough to get a job in teaching. At that time, Rasmussen College was in Bismarck, and they're like, we're starting up a multimedia program here in Bismarck. And I was grateful I got the job and was able to apply what I knew in different ways. So I wasn't necessarily working in production, but I was able to talk about it and teach, how to do animation, how to do video, drawing, programming, that kind of thing. And that was really eye-opening. And it's true what they say, that to really learn a subject, you have to teach it, because that taught me things and all kinds of things that I didn't get to know. And I learned that I loved that back and forth with students. And from there, I actually had been in contact with Mike Mabin, the owner of Agency Mabu, for a number of years at that point. And I'd done some freelance work for them over the years. But I reached out and I said, Mike, I kind of got the itch. I really want to get back into production again. And he thought about it, and I think he was thinking, how could we make this work? And he ended up employing me. Initially, I started as a web project manager, but over the course of 12 years, together we grew an animation department, and we were able to, with Mike's help, with Mabu's help, grow something that didn't really exist in this area before. So again, it was about kind of thinking outside the box, being willing to adapt, but also, being in contact with good people that are willing to take a chance on you and try something new.
So grateful for you to come to North Dakota and to continue to share your talents, rather than, hang your hat up on the animation and give up on that passion. I love you're able to find a way to share that through teaching. And then I can attest to the transformation you made to Agency Mabu. I've been following them for a long time as well. And you guys really put them on the map nationally. And such a variety of animation here, from 3D to 2D and live action, and just really blown away by what you did. And eventually that animation unit seemed to develop into its own company, Birdtree Studio.
We're a brand new startup. We started in last October. We reached a point where I felt like we could take it to the next level. And I just wanted to be able to bring on a bigger team and work with more talent, but really be able to move outside of the market or the niche that Mabu had built for itself, and try working with the private sector, try do product advertising, moving into different styles of animation that we might not necessarily be able to do as an agency. And so what we decided to do, we talked it through, and I ended up partnering with Mike and his son Alex, who is now owner of Agency Mabu. And we decided to build Birdtree Studio as its own separate entity. And its focus is animation. That's what we do. We don't do video, we don't do design. We want to specialize in that. And so the idea is that we'll be able to work on bigger projects, and also encourage the talent that there is here in Bismarck to stay in Bismarck. There are opportunities here. If there's, the next young Ed who's learning animation and wants to do it, but he lives here in Bismarck, I don't want him to be afraid that he's going to have to leave the state and that there are no opportunities. Not to try and sound all magnanimous, but I would love to be able to try and pay it back if I can, and try and give somebody an opportunity that I was looking for when I moved here.
That is the goal here. And that is so awesome what you're doing. And what skills should young animators be learning right now?
Well, that's a good question. AI is a hot topic. It kind of depends, really. It depends on what your goal is. If you're putting the AI piece aside for a second, if you're interested in big Hollywood films or games, you really want to be thinking about building a portfolio that shows a specialization. You kind of want to be that master of one. And that might be character animation, where you take existing rigs, existing characters, and you focus purely on the movement. Or it might be a lighting artist or a storyboard artist. Show that you can do that thing really, really well. However, if you want to work with a smaller company, and I think this is where Birdtree stands really, is we're looking for generalists who kind of love everything about animation. I like to use a term that I learned, which is a jack of all trades and a master of one, which is kind of what we try and lean on, where it's like, I love this. This is my specialty, but I love all of animation and I'm willing to dive into anything. That's really the mindset that's going to get you into a smaller studio or a small agency that takes on a variety of different projects. And you really have to wear multiple hats. So a lot of what you want to specialize in, or how you want to take your animation journey and education, depends on kind of where you want to end up, I would say.
Do you think there's opportunities for creators to build a career here?
Absolutely. I think that there's been in the last few years alone, I'm just seeing so many specialized units like Threefold, DNN Cinematics, The Good Kids, that really have built something out of nothing here in North Dakota, and are specializing, and they're just producing work that essentially makes it on the national scale. It competes with anything at the highest levels. I think that if the passion is there, if the drive is there, you can certainly make something of it here in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Amen. I think animation always felt like intangible for at least for me as a creator in North Dakota, and I'm just so inspired and lucky to have you and other creators here in the state. And I do also want to give props to Threefold, DNN, Good Kids. There is a sea of change here, and I think the internet and has allowed Hollywood not to be a place. And for people that grew up here or have families here or met a girl here and moved all the way here, we now have opportunities to create. And I love that we're finding ways to collaborate as well. Tell us, what is Birdtree Studio? It's located in Bismarck, but what do you guys specialize in?
Yeah, we like to cover the whole gamut of animation styles. Primarily, really, we do a lot of work creating PSAs, animated PSAs for Ducks Unlimited. We've worked with the Native American Rights Fund, and we've covered messaging there specifically. We've worked with the Department of Public Instruction, creating inspirational materials for up-and-coming learners moving into kindergarten. So we really cover a wide range of topics and clients. And the styles of animation that we cover are anything from 2D puppet to 2D frame by frame, 3D stop motion. We really choose anything depending on the project and the audience.
And I got to say, I was really blown away by the scope of your work, the amount of styles of animation and 2D, 3D, and just the detail of animation too. I mean, really national quality. Blown away. That's made in downtown Bismarck, North Dakota here. So lucky to have you here in the state.
I
great
appreciate
work.
that. Thank you.
Really recommend everyone to check out Birdtree Studio. You can see their work at birdtree.studio. Awesome.
Can I give a shout out?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Katie and Molly and our wonderful network of freelancers because
well, let me set that up with a question here.
Okay.
So those are the people that work with you?
Sure. Yes.
So, okay. So Birdtree, you're obviously the face of Birdtree, and are you the president, CEO? What are you?
Co-owner, director of animation.
Okay. So you're the director of animation at Birdtree and co-owner, but there's got to be more than you. Hopefully it's not AI bots. Who else works at Birdtree Studio?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because truthfully, the work that we do is all thanks to them and the skill set that they bring. Molly is our senior animator, Molly Hansen. She really brings such a bubbly, fun nature to all the work that she does. And then Katie Mugley, she is based out of Fargo, and she's a wonderful 2D animator. And between us, we have slightly different skill sets, but that's the reason we have such a variety of work on our website.
That's awesome. Awesome. You're creating job opportunities, and also you're able to use remote workers here as well.
Yeah,
I think that's something that's untapped here and opens up a lot of opportunities for business owners in North Dakota who might not, it's a good way to kind of ease in an employee.
Absolutely. Yeah. It feels like there are no limits as far as location anymore. Internet speeds are just so good and cloud infrastructure is so good that really a number of successful studios that I see around the world are in fact entirely remote, and it's possible to work that way now.
Really appreciate all the work you're doing here, Ed, and such a great asset to the tapestry of North Dakota filmmakers and creators here in North Dakota to have you and Birdtree here. What's next for Birdtree Studio, and where can people learn more about your work and connect with you?
Yeah, well, we're starting to gain traction. We brought on some interesting projects which allow us to kind of start to grow. And I think what we really want to do is piggyback off of the experience that we've learned from working at Mabu and the types of work that we've done on PSAs or educational storytelling. We want to keep going with that kind of work, take it to the next level, make bigger productions. I'd really like to be able to collaborate with a lot more talent that's here in North Dakota. I'd like to be able to bring on freelance talent that can bring a whole new skill set into Birdtree, because without the talent, we're not going to make it. We need the skills and the expertise in order to be able to make great things.
The more we can collaborate, I think the more opportunities for success here in the state.
Could I touch on that just for a sec? Because I think that's a really good point. I love the idea of collaboration outside of our respective industries, because I think that, when we as kind of expert studios that specialize either in design or film or television, animation, when we come together collectively, I think that there's so much opportunity to build something bigger than we could ever have done by ourselves. Tapping into those individual skill sets really enables us to grow and essentially build a perfect team for any project.
Great words of advice here, and great words to aspire to, and a great way to end it here. Ed, where can people learn more about your work and connect with you and Birdtree Studio?
Yeah, so we're on the web. You can find us at birdtree.studio. You can contact us at contact@birdtree.studio. Always looking to hear from up-and-coming animators who are interested in getting into the industry. Love to just talk animation. But as well, potential clients. We're really looking to work, both locally and nationally. We want to really represent all of the variety of industries, small businesses, large businesses that are here in North Dakota, and tell their stories.
Awesome. Well, Ed, I recommend everyone to go check out your website and reach out and connect, birdtree.studio, and they are located in downtown Bismarck, North Dakota. And thank you for listening to the Film North Dakota podcast. This is brought to you by Film North Dakota, a 501c4 nonprofit dedicated to helping grow and connect North Dakota's film, media, and television industries. If you'd like to learn more or become a member, like myself or Ed is a proud member of Film North Dakota. Visit filmnorthdakota.com and become a member for as little as $20 a year. Thanks for listening, and keep making movies in North Dakota.
North Dakota, where the sun shines brighter and the country's wider than the sky. I come from